Have you ever held a coin in your hand that could secretly be worth a fortune? A simple 50-cent coin from 1972, yes, the Kennedy half-dollar, might just be hiding a value that could make your jaw drop. Most people see it as ordinary change, but what if I told you that a few of these 1972 half-dollars have sold for thousands and even reached shocking prices you won't believe? Stay right here, because by the end of this video, you'll look at every coin in your pocket differently. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a piece of metal. It's a symbol of American history, carrying the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, a man who inspired millions. After his tragic assassination in 1963, the U.S. Mint rushed to create a coin in his honor, and by 1964, the Kennedy half-dollar was born. But the 1972 version, that's where things get really interesting. Unlike earlier years, the 1972 half-dollar was made entirely of copper-nickel clad, no silver at all. Yet, despite being common in appearance, certain rare errors and high-grade coins from this year have exploded in value, shocking even expert collectors. Let's start with a quick breakdown. The Philadelphia Mint struck about 153 million coins, and the Denver Mint struck 141 million, marked with a small d. On top of that, the San Francisco Mint produced around 3 million proof coins for collectors, each carrying that shiny S mint mark. At first glance, it sounds like there's nothing rare about this coin. Millions were made. But here's where the surprise kicks in. Condition, mint errors, and hidden varieties make all the difference. A standard 1972 half-dollar in circulated condition might only be worth face value, 50 cents. But once you cross into mint state grades, the numbers rise fast. A flawless MS-65 example can bring $30 to $100, depending on the luster and strike quality. But in MS-67 or higher, you're talking serious money. One incredible 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar graded MS-67 by PCGS sold for over $2,800 at auction. And that's just the beginning. The real shock comes with the rare varieties and mint errors. Let's talk about one of the most mind-blowing finds, the No FG variety. You see, on the reverse of the Kennedy half-dollar, there are tiny initials, FG, standing for Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer. But on some 1972 half-dollars, these initials are missing. Whether it's due to over-polished dies or minting errors, the No FG coins have become hot collectibles. If you find a 1972 D No FG Kennedy half-dollar, even in circulated condition, it could fetch hundreds of dollars, and in high mint state grades, it can soar above $3,000. Imagine that, a 50-cent coin suddenly worth thousands just because two tiny letters are missing. Another shocking version is the double die obverse error, where the lettering or portrait details show doubling under magnification. A clear doubling on the date, motto, or the word liberty can send collectors racing to bid. These rare error coins have fetched between $500 and $1,500, depending on the sharpness of the doubling and condition. And don't forget about the proof coins struck at San Francisco. While most 1972 S-proof Kennedy half-dollars are relatively common and sell for around $10 to $20, those graded as PR70 Deep Cameo, the absolute best condition, can reach over $1,000. These proofs have mirror-like surfaces so reflective they look like liquid silver, and collectors will pay big money for perfection. Now here's something few people realize. Even though 1972 coins weren't supposed to contain silver, a few mysterious silver planchet errors are known to exist. These were likely struck on leftover silver planchets from earlier years. If you ever find a 1972 half-dollar that sounds different when dropped, or weighs slightly more, around 11.5 grams instead of the usual 11.34 grams, it might just be one of those silver transitional errors. Such a find could easily bring in $5,000 to $10,000 or more depending on the condition. That's a small fortune sitting in someone's change jar right now. What makes the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar even more fascinating is its historical timing. The early 70s were a turbulent era for the U.S. economy. The country had just abandoned the gold standard, inflation was rising, and silver had already been removed from circulating coins. Yet, the Kennedy half-dollar held on as a patriotic symbol, carrying the image of a beloved president at a time when America needed hope. Because of that emotional connection, collectors have always had a soft spot for it. Even though the average 1972 half-dollar might seem common, finding one in perfect, untouched condition is almost impossible today. Decades of circulation have left most with scratches, dull surfaces, or wear. That's why grading is crucial. A small jump from MS-65 to MS-67 can mean the difference between a $40 coin and a $2,500 one. Collectors search tirelessly for well-struck examples with strong details on Kennedy's hair, clean fields, and a bright original mint luster. And let's not overlook presentation sets. Some collectors pay premium prices for coins still sealed in original mint packaging. A 1972 S-proof set in pristine condition, for example, can bring much more than face value. Even more shocking, entire rolls of uncirculated 1972 half dollars have sold for hundreds of dollars, especially if they contain high-grade or error pieces. Now imagine stumbling across one of these treasures in your coin jar, drawer, or even as pocket change. That's what keeps collectors hooked, the thrill of the hunt. The idea that you could discover a coin that everyone else overlooks, but that's secretly worth thousands. And with the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, it happens more often than you'd think. Before you rush off to check your coins, here's a quick tip. Always look for the mint mark just below Kennedy's neck.